Welcome back to another episode of Gridiron Guys. I am your host, Luke, with my co-host, Big Jim.
Howdy, y'all. Let's go.
If you like our content, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you never miss any of our content. But we're going to talk about the latest college football playoff rankings. Top 4 didn't change whatsoever.
Nope.
Thought it would. Didn't give much of an explanation of why Florida State is above Washington. In my opinion, Washington. Yeah, but like Washington's played better competition, and that's not even. And I don't even think that's up for a debate.
Like, yeah, they probably played better competition, but I still think you give the benefit of the doubt just because of who Florida State kind of put an ass whooping to week 1 with the LSU game. I think that's really helping them out right now. Yeah,
even
I expect stuff to change.
Even though Bama literally beat that ass.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, East Coast Brad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Have you checked on him lately? He was 100% sure that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
You don't go against Nick Saban.
No. Hence why I did not. Nate, you were 2-2?
What was I?
No, you're 2-3. You're 3-2. You were 3-2. You were 3-2, and I was 4-1. Actually, I was 5-1 because I took the over in the Washington game, and I took Washington. So,
dude, that had a chance to hit the over in the third quarter.
I know. God. It was crazy. That game was absolutely bananas. Let's start with that game. Washington proves it's still top dog in the Pac-12 with a win over USC, which caused the Trojans to let go of their DC. Was it the right move? I'm just going to answer my own question. Yes, absolutely. It was the greatest move. It's the right move. It might not look like the right move now because the interim's going to have to come in, and who knows if he's going to do anything better.
Yeah.
But next year, they will be a better team on defense. I can tell you that right now. And do you think it was the AD kind of being like, hey, Lincoln, we're going to make a move if you don't?
I think it was between the AD and some boosters and everything. USC's the type of school that, demands wins right away.
Yeah.
They see that they're averaging 34 points on offense and they're giving up like 40 a game. So
yeah, they really are.
Obviously, everyone in the world knew something had to happen. Think they made this move this early because their chances of making the playoff is absolutely zero now.
It's shot.
So yeah, just get a head start on the game and see what happens.
Penix outperformed Caleb Williams.
Penix
right now,
if
they went out, he might even play himself into being the number 1 pick.
He might.
He was balling. Speaking of balling, Caleb Williams after the game went up to his mom and was caught crying. Well, not caught crying. All right, here's the thing. We all have lost a game and we have all cried. Like that's happened. Like this is the name of the game. This is what competitive people do.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why he's being scrutinized for that action. I think that's a very normal reaction to have.
Yeah. I think I don't know if he's of course there's going to be like people calling him a ball baby and everything. I mean, we see him with Tebow where he was balling on the sideline with his teammates and everything. It just shows you he has a lot of emotion in the game, and we should be giving these people we shouldn't be giving these people shit about it.
Agreed.
I feel like the media needs to do a little better job in keeping that probably a private issue. Like
Agreed.
if you see it, then don't pan to him. Come on.
Yeah, no, agreed. So. And I mean, I in my opinion, I think this is he's not coming back.
No,
he's not coming back.
He's going to be the
gotta
number 1
go
pick.
pro.
Yep.
He's got to go pro because if he doesn't and he comes back, yes, I understand he probably is going to make more. He would make more in college than he would in the NFL his first couple of years.
His first year, yeah.
But like, nah, dude, you can't. No matter what, USC is going to be in a changing mode, in my opinion, because they're not Big Ten ready.
Right.
They're not built for the Big Ten, and that's going to take 2 or 3 years. Even with Lincoln Riley, they are going to struggle that first couple of years. I mean, look at what Nebraska had.
Yep.
Nebraska had a team that had gone and played for Big 12 championships, made it the first year in the Big 10, and hasn't sniffed the Big 10 championship in 7-8 years. You know,
it's going to be a process for them. It's just going to be on who.
It's going to be a lot harder process.
It's going to be who they going to pick up in the defensive coordinator position to see. If I was Lincoln Riley, I'd look at your schedule ahead of you for next year and the years to come, and get a guy that understands big game football. That understands how to call defensive style Big Ten football. I mean, you got to find someone that understands that shit. Otherwise, it's going to take a lot longer than you think. So,
by the way, you sneaked out that over. By the way,
which one?
The Huskers over, barely by 3 points. Stupid ass game. I think Washington is the real deal. I think they have a real good chance of winning out the rest of the way. I still will say I think Washington deserves to be in the top 4. Every week I've watched them play. I've bet on them. They are a good team. I watch Washington football. They are really good.
It'll come. It'll come. I mean, we're only in the second week of rankings and everything. A lot of shit has to change. I mean, Michigan has a hell of a game this week.
Yeah,
Georgia has a game this
hell
week.
Of a game. Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State has Michigan at the end of the year, and we all know how that's going to go. Realistically, there's going to be a lot of changes in this top 4. All Washington has to do is ride the wave. If they finish undefeated, they will be in the top 4, guaranteed.
No, agreed. I absolutely agree with you on that. And I think it's absolutely insane. And I mean, the same can be said for Florida State.
Yeah.
I think if you the real tricky part about it is if you have a 1-loss SEC champion, you have 2 undefeated, a Pac-12 and an ACC champion, and a 1-loss Big 10. You have to put in the 2 undefeated for a 1-loss, depending on if it's an Alabama or even a Georgia.
I think the winner of it depends on how everything plays out. I think if Ohio State loses, they're out, no matter what.
Agreed. No, agreed. And same with Michigan.
Because Ohio State's not a better team than Alabama, not a better team than Georgia. They're not a better team than Washington or Oregon. They're at that number 1 seed because they're undefeated and they have a better resume. But in my opinion,
that Notre Dame win is starting to look a little worse after Clemson beat them.
For sure. Yeah. And I think a 1-loss Georgia deserves to get in. Depends on where that 1 loss comes from. If it comes this week or if it comes in the SEC championship. I think the most dangerous team is Alabama right now. Yeah. Alabama's playing really good, and they didn't even move up this week. They're still sitting at 8.
8?
Yep.
Wow.
So they have work. They're going to have work to do.
Speaking of Bama, we're going to jump around a little bit. We'll hit these Big 10 games later. Alabama dominates LSU.
Yeah.
And like you said, they are a scary 8 team, a number 8 team. Mm-hmm. Think about that, Nate. If we were talking about a 12-team playoff, I would not want to see them 8 below. As a 1 seed, that shit, no way.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Because even if they have to go up north because if I remember correctly, each team, the top 5 seeds or top 6 seeds get a home game.
Yeah.
In the playoff.
Right.
So they'll play at home in Michigan, Ohio State, Washington. If Alabama has to go up north, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Playing 25-degree weather, snow.
It'd be something to see for sure. I mean, how would the Southern teams handle playing in that kind of elements, I mean, even if they had to go up to Washington or Oregon, I mean, it'd be chilly. Be exciting. See what happens.
It'll be interesting. I think Alabama, like you said, Alabama is one of the scariest teams now, and I would not want to play them. I don't feel good for Auburn. I don't feel good for Middle Chattanooga State, probably, that they'll play in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, Bama's really good. I mean, LSU just came into a buzzsaw.
Mm-hmm.
A really, really motivated Alabama team, and they got the break speed off of them. And that's just kind of how it goes sometimes in college football.
Do you think Jaden Daniels is out of the Heisman race now?
Agree. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think Penix, Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, Bo Nix is having a
Mhm.
quiet good year.
I
He's putting
would
up
throw in
numbers.
Bama's quarterback right now.
Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. I mean, that dude is a stud. He is fast as shit, and he is playing lights out right now. Ever since he didn't start that South Florida game,
Been on
ever
a
since
tear.
that game, they've
Played
been
against Texas
just
A&M.
yep. I mean, he's on a tear. I would throw him in like an honorable mention. Maybe not a top 3 or top 4 right now, but
Uh-huh.
definitely got to talk about him. You got to start at least. So
No, absolutely. Bedlam, Oklahoma State
love it.
beat Oklahoma. That's the last game that they'll play Bedlam for a really long time until the foreseeable future, at least.
Yep.
I still think that they should do the whole Iowa State thing. That they should
I do
be
too.
like there should be a state law where they play each other every year,
Yep. I
no
wish they
matter
would.
when it is. That's all I'm
I'm with
saying.
you.
I think they should.
I'm with you. I really think them in-state rivals like Iowa State, Iowa, and Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. I think they should play every year. Florida State does it. Georgia Tech does it. I mean, those are awesome rivalries. We got to keep them.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get one back with Texas A&M.
Yep, we are.
So what?
And
So
Texas
here's
A&M does not want that game. I can tell you
no,
that.
not right now. No, hell no. My question is with that Texas A&M Texas game, does that move LSU Texas A&M to maybe after Bama LSU every year? That
Probably, yeah.
that LSU Texas A&M game is always the last game of the year on each other's schedule.
Yeah. It probably it might, you know. They got to do some rescheduling stuff and everything, and we'll see what happens.
I think it's gonna be. I think the SEC and the Big Ten are gonna be watch.
Yeah.
Every week will be a good
Exciting.
game. Every
Yep.
game, it'll make college game day a hard and big noon kickoff hard. Like where should we go each week? There's so many good games.
Yep. Big noon
And
kickoff needs to change their time, dude.
agreed. They should
They
just
gotta have
be. They should just be Big Fox kickoff.
Yeah.
Big Fox kickoff. Don't do big noon. Nobody gives a shit about the noon game.
No.
Anyway, I think it's great. I think the Big 12 is really in trouble of not getting a team into the playoff.
Yeah.
And that was before I said when Texas lost, I said that's probably gonna do it. And then Oklahoma lost against Kansas the last week, and then they lose again this week. Like there's nobody in the Big 12 that has the resume that is only a one-loss team that is worthy of getting in over a Oregon, a Washington, a Florida State. Like you just can't look at the Big 12 and say, "Oh, wow, that's impressive." No, because it's literally they've literally beaten each other up. And the same, like the only thing with like when I say that, I think of the SEC, but I'm like SEC has been so dominant and they beat each other up because they're that good.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't say that about the Big 12.
No, you can't.
No.
I mean, this year's been kind of different because there's been some decent games in the Big 12 and all around every conference. Like the competition level is there and everything. I just wish we were a part of it with the Huskers, but
it's starting
not
to
yet.
it's starting to even itself out. It's starting to even itself out, and I think NIL is a big reason why.
It's huge. It's huge.
It's bigger than what people want to admit, and I think people need to start getting on, and I think Rule has done a really good job with that NIL.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about some Big Ten football, bro. Iowa nearly beats Northwestern in Wrigley Field, and the under hit again.
Yeah.
Like literally, just ride with me, guys. Ride with me every week. It's always a solid pick. You ever want $5 in your pocket or $5.50? $5.50 in your pocket? Always bet an Iowa under. Never ceases to amaze me that they do not score points. So some scenarios for other Big Ten teams. It would have been nice to see Northwestern beat Iowa because Wisconsin also lost to Indiana. Good pick on Indiana. They're always a scrappy team. They always manage to get one win a year. That's really meaningful, and it keeps Tom Allen's seat a little cool. Even though I really don't think he's that great of a coach.
He's not that great of a coach. He's a great motivator.
He's a great rah-rah guy, but
I And that's
You
all
got
he
to be able
is.
to recruit. But he's not able to recruit Indiana football.
Right.
It's like the opposite. It's like, okay, so it's to put this in perspective for us. It's like Fred Hoiberg at Nebraska basketball trying to recruit and not having the same success as Nebraska football.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, like Indiana's not known for their football. I mean,
Right.
besides D Corso.
Yeah.
That's it. So
and even him, he was terrible there.
Yeah. And obviously Wisconsin loses to Indiana. My question is, who's the better hire right now? Goal or Rule?
As of right now, both teams are riddled with injuries. Wisconsin had
Did Braylon Allen play?
I don't know.
I thought he got a really interesting injury in that Ohio State game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he didn't
He didn't play
the rest of that game against
No,
Ohio
he didn't.
State.
No, he didn't. Yeah, if he's out a significant amount of time, they're in trouble.
They are. Yeah, he didn't play at all.
Ooh,
He did not play at all against Indiana. They are definitely in trouble. It's just I like Luke Fickell. Both teams are riddled with injuries. I feel like Wisconsin's cabinets were a little more full when Fickell got there, so they expected him to win a little better and easier, or more, I should say, than Rule. But you look at Nebraska just won 3 straight. Yeah, we dropped an ugly one last week. Wisconsin is starting to sink right now. They're taking on a lot of water.
The whole Big Ten West is taking on water.
Yeah, they really are starting to struggle with these injuries being gone. There's no backup like Nebraska has had backups stand up and stand out in the games, and Wisconsin hasn't had that. So I like the Rule hire more than the Fickell hire because he's gotten his bench players ready to play. I don't see that with Wisconsin. I see Wisconsin kind of really struggling and trying to just rely on simple game tactics, simple game, like just running the ball and making easy passes for his players, and it's not working for him. So and Wisconsin doesn't have that dominant defense this year, so that they don't have anything to rely on.
Yeah, it's really tough for them, and especially not having the running attack, and everybody thought that Luke Fickell was just gonna change that narrative. Like, no, they're like one of the best rushing, like they're like top 15 rushing teams in the country.
Yeah.
So really hoping that. Well, I mean, I'm not hoping that he doesn't play against Nebraska, but
a lot better.
It would be nice. By the way, that game is a 6:30 kickoff on NBC. So we finally got our night game. I like it. I like that call because Nebraska always brings views, and second, it's a night game in Camp Randall, and I think weird shit happens at night at Camp Randall. We've been close against Wisconsin the last couple of years. I think it's just time that we finally just stick it to them, and maybe we will. But we got Maryland this week, and let's talk about the game last week. I really didn't see much because I was a little preoccupied, but I caught bits and pieces of it, and I went back and watched it. Okay. Play calling the first, second quarter. Okay. There were a lot of things that I did like to see, right?
Yeah.
Giving up 7 sacks doesn't help.
Nope.
But a lot of those sacks were kind of on Heinrich.
Yeah,
he was
needs
moving
to
around.
Rid of the ball.
Get rid of the ball or run and make a play. And he's just thinking too much. And I think you can see it with the way he plays. He's just not playing loose.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the really bad throw that he had was that deep ball where Alex Bullock was wide open and he just overthrew him for that pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, it didn't really hurt them at that time because it was basically an arm punt.
That was a 7-point. I mean, that was 7 points right there. Easy.
No, it is.
That
it's
he should have hit.
Agreed. But like the most frustrating thing is that all of our options aren't good. No matter what, they're not good. And it's so frustrating because I feel like if we had consistency at the quarterback position,
we have 7 wins.
We'd have 9 wins.
9 wins, probably. Yeah. I mean,
9 wins. We would be in the driver's seat for the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be ranked and everything. It's just,
it
I feel
just
like,
goes to show you how much it means to have a good quarterback.
yeah,
Like a quarterback is at least 3 to 7 points right there.
mm-hmm. I feel like our play calling wasn't what it was against Purdue. It was almost the exact opposite. With Purdue, we ran the option maybe 10 or 15 times. Against Michigan State, we ran it like 3 times. I get it. I get it. Like, Michigan State has a better defensive line. It showed. I feel like our offensive line played like ass. Like, this was probably their worst game all year. I mean, they gave up 7 sacks, you said. I mean,
7 sacks.
I get it. We're young and everything, but holy dude, if you can't block them, cut them. I mean, cutting is not illegal in college. Do it.
Yeah, that Jenkins though was one of the bright spots. He's come in.
Jenkins is gonna be a bright spot.
Yeah,
but Teddy really killed us, dude. Teddy really he didn't kill us. A lot of things killed us in this game.
It wasn't just one player.
But he literally hurt us.
But so the defense,
the defense. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, no. Continue your thought.
Okay, so I feel like the play calling could have been better. It definitely.
I think it's improved every week, though, time to time. With him being in the
with
box,
the struggling quarterback, with the struggling quarterback, they didn't do anything to help him. Like you got to get Heinrich to run. Heinrich is not going to be a passing quarterback. He's not going to be Peyton Manning back there. Get him to run, okay? Like, it's not hard. Get him out in space. Like Satterfield said today in his press conference, he said, we got to get this kid settled down. We got to get him to where he was playing La Tech and Northern Illinois, where he was running through players. We have to get that confidence back. And I feel like, and you see it a lot around college football with young quarterbacks, when they make one mistake, it starts to snowball. And that's what happened against Michigan State. It really did. I don't think our whole, as a team, helped to pull Heinrich out of that damn hole and to help the team win the game. Even as a coaching standpoint, like, I couldn't understand where they said Billy Kemp is not 100%, but he's going to be returning punts. Why are you going to return punts? Those are the dudes that take the most freaking hard hits.
Agreed.
But all he did was sit there and fair catch. Well, fuck, dude. Even if you got 5 yards, that helps. And
put Ethan Nation in there. They've been talking him up a storm.
Just come on. You got to coach these guys to be prepared and go out there and catch the damn ball. And we're catching the ball on the 10 and in when it could roll into the end zone, and we're fair catching it right there. As an entire team standpoint, that was the ugliest game I've ever seen. I'm embarrassed to lose to a shitty team like Michigan State. But the best thing about Rule is he throws that game away and he fixes his mistakes. So I expect a whole new energized team this week against Maryland.
And it kind of just goes to show you that if the defense doesn't play well,
right,
it shows how much the offense struggles.
Yep, it does.
And we all know that. We all know that. We've
the defense did not play good.
The defense didn't play up to par. They need to get more turnovers. Like with how many turnovers that we give up, they need to and I think and it's hard because it's like you try to coach that and it's like, really, it's all instinct.
Yeah.
It's all instinct and being at the right place at the right time and making the right play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just disheartening because it's like you go into this game and you're favored by 3 and you've got all the momentum going into the game, and then you get the bug dragged right underneath you, and it's like, well, here we go again. Are we going to go on another 3-game skid? We can't go on another 3-game skid.
No.
It's just the mindset. It's the mindset of being aware of, hey, let's erase it. Let's throw the tape away. We reviewed it on Sunday. This week's a new week. We're getting prepared for Maryland. We got it. And they are a better team than I think they're a better team than Colorado. I think they're a better team than Minnesota. I think they're better than they're better than half the schedule that we've played, minus Michigan. I think the most interesting thing is that Rule took a shot, not necessarily kind of jabbed at Michigan a little bit today. And with everything that's going on with that situation, And then he took a shot at the officiating. I'm wondering if he's probably going to get fined for that.
Well, god damn, dude, the officiating was horrible. As bad as we played, we should have won the game. But the officiating made us not win that game, literally. It wasn't a catch for a touchdown. There was a face mask right in front of the white hat, and there was a blatant pass interference. Like, come on, dude. These are easy calls.
Well, and replay. And when Dean Blandino goes, that's not a catch. There has to be somebody like how they have it at Sunday Night Football. Like they have a crew in New York watching the feed.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be able to buzz down and be like, hey, no, that's not a catch.
Right.
Like it's easy as that. Why can't we have that in college football?
I don't know.
Makes zero sense.
Like if you're going to have a rule, if you're going to have a review, then make sure the review gets it right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, agreed.
I can understand like, okay, we can't tell from our angle, so it's going to stand this call. But like, Jesus Christ, dude, you can see that plain as day. Fucking catch.
And Malachi getting, having two guys hit him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could say the ball wasn't catchable, but like if he doesn't get help,
he was in stride.
If he's in stride and those two guys aren't interfering with him, he makes that catch and he scores that touchdown. God. And you can't, and like I say, you can't blame the refs for a loss.
Yeah.
You can't. You got to play better. You got to fight through the adversity because they're just human, just as much as human as you and I. And we're all prone to make mistakes or accidents. And you got to overcome that. And they just couldn't.
Yep.
And I think that this week is going to really make or break. I think this game, the next 3 games, you have a potential. If you sweep the next 3 games, you have a chance to go to Indianapolis when nobody thought you could.
Right.
Nobody thought you could.
Yep.
And you could go bowling. You could go possibly play for a not New Year's Six Bowl, but be playing on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And that would do wonders for your team, getting 3 weeks of extra practice, getting another bowl, getting a bowl game, going to a different place, getting to celebrate the season. Like, those are things that I think should be thought. Just like Rule says, 1-0 every day, 1-0. We just got to go 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and then we will see where the chips lie. And I think they have a good team. Prince will be back next. He was in concussion protocol, so that's why he didn't play. But I felt like the defense still played all right. Didn't play up to the standard that they've been playing to all year. I think that's the best way of saying it. But there's still really good bright spots. Marquise Buford's back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting he's getting a red shirt. So he can play 4 games. More years of eligibility. Yep. His little brother's going to be coming in next year. And it'll be the first time that him and his brother are playing on the same team together.
Yep. And that's going to be awesome.
His brother is one of the best man-to-man coverage corners in the state of Texas.
Let's go.
So
we got some bright spots coming up, Luke.
We do. It's just we
got to
put it all together.
6-1. Yep, we got to get that 6 win. See what we can do there.
No, agreed. And what's the line? Do you know what the line is for Maryland?
I thought it was Maryland by 3, which I love.
So do I.
Why I hate being favorite because when we don't cover 2.5 now on ESPN. Let's go. You already know.
2.5.
You already know, boys.
2.5.
Listeners out there, I know you're all big Red fans. Let's go.
2.5. Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, but yeah, East Coast Brad and we will be talking about that game and a lot more Big Ten. But that's it for college football. Let's talk about the NFL. We'll start with Chiefs Dolphins. It was okay.
Didn't live up to the hype.
No, it didn't live up to that over. That over hurt.
Yeah, that sucked.
That was my only miss on the day. I would have went undefeated if I wouldn't have taken the over. I would have gone 5-0. So that's great. Mahomes and companies looked good in the first 2 halves. Got 14 points. The defense stole a fumble from Tyreek, which I think is ironic as hell, and scored a touchdown. But then the goose egg in the second half. But the defense did play really well when it needed to be, when it was counted on most. And I think that's the most important part about this team is that they are able to rely on the defense while the offense kind of figures out what its identity is. Because I don't think they have an identity.
Mm-hmm.
And this is me saying this, Nagy doesn't know what the he's doing.
He's going to be your next head coach.
No, he won't. I swear to God. Just hop over Nagy and give EB the keys, because literally we didn't have this. We had one game where we struggled on. There were a couple of games where we struggled on offense, but not this much. Not the inconsistency that we are seeing this year. Why the isn't Pacheco averaging 80 yards a game?
I don't know. I'm trading his ass in fantasy.
They need to literally just hand him the ball. Yep. He has 535 yards this year.
I don't understand their play calling half the time.
Neither do I. Why are we passing it on 3rd and 2? Line it up with Trey Smith and fucking Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith loves to be out in space and hit people. So just run to his side. Mm-hmm. Let Pacheco do his thing and go. It's not that hard. It's like they try to overcomplicate things. And if they do that against good teams, and by the way, the Dolphins are frauds, officially frauds. They cannot beat a good team.
Have they beat a team that has a winning record yet? It's just, Nagy's play calling on the offense is really slowing that Chiefs team down. Like, Mahomes doesn't look the same. Kelsey had 10 yards against Miami, and it's not like because Miami covered him like stick on shit. It's just, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Like, exactly what you said. It's 3rd and 2, and they put Jarrett McKinnon in, which McKinnon's a good back and everything, but he's your back you throw to out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Put your bruiser in.
And they know you're going to do that. They know you're going to do that. And when he comes out, it's like, all right, they're passing it.
Yep.
And it just instantly gives away like your ability to play. It just is annoying, man. Yep. And I'm glad they won. I'm glad they won.
They still won the game against They still won the game over in Germany, the first ever in Frankfurt. And I mean,
they're the only team.
It was a fun game. It was. I liked watching it.
They're the only team to win in 4 different countries.
Really?
Obviously, the United States, Mexico, England, and now Germany. They're the only team, which is crazy. And Andy Reid is 2-0, and a big F you to Big Cat for not taking the Chiefs because he thought about the travel. Usually, the team that travels first gets there first. Usually wins the game.
Yeah.
But he forgot that Andy Reid is 2-0 in international games and didn't decide to put that stat in his back, and he lost. So that sucks. And Frank the Take, dude, he is so funny, dude. So funny to watch. Oh my God.
The one guy went nuts on him.
Oh yeah, Nicky Smokes.
Yeah, he's like, shut up.
Yeah, no, yeah. Only one team that's 500 on their schedule so far. Chargers. That's the only team that they've beaten that's like 500. And they got Raiders at Jets, at Commanders, Titans, at Jets, Cowboys, at Ravens, Bills. Oh,
Jesus, the Dolphins are frauds. Like, they're gonna win most of them games. The Bills are gonna give them hell. Might even lose to the Bills, and they're gonna make the playoffs as like a 3-4 seed, and then they're gonna get beat right away. You're like,
especially if they have to go. Especially if they're a 4 or 5 seed, they're gonna be going to somewhere, and it's. I wouldn't want to play at Jacksonville right now, to be honest with you. They had a home playoff game.
Yep.
That's a scary opponent right there. I can tell you that right now.
They had a bye this week, so hopefully we got healthy.
Yeah.
We got a tough game this week. So
yeah, you got the Niners. Next up for the Chiefs, we got a bye week this week.
Much needed.
And then we got the Eagles on Monday night. So that's
so you got a long bye week.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, from Sunday to Monday, you get a couple extra days off, and recharge the batteries, and then you get ready for game week. And it's gonna the Eagles are gonna come out with a chip on their shoulder. We beat them in the Super Bowl, and we've beaten them the last 3 meetings, including the Super Bowl. So, and Andy likes beating Philly. He likes Philly. He obviously it's the organization that gave him his first start as a head coach, but it's always nice to beat the guys that fired you. Moving from the Chiefs, the Commies, the Commanders get a bounce back win against the Patriots. I felt really good with that plus the plus 3.5. Like I said on Friday's episode, I just don't trust the Patriots with Mac Jones, and that defense is still a work in progress. I think Bill Belichick has lost his juice, if I'm going to be honest. And I think the reason why they aren't doing as well is because he's playing both GM and head coach.
Yeah. It never works when you do. You got to focus on one thing at a time.
I mean,
and like
it
said,
worked for a little bit.
They haven't drafted very good lately.
No.
He's
always traded his first couple of picks, and then he tries to find diamonds in the rough.
And I think he got away with it when he had Tom Brady because Tom Brady. But now life without Tom Brady sucks. You know, Tom Brady made Danny Amendola a 1,000 yards receiver, and
Julian Edelman and Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, like, he made wide receivers that probably aren't wide receiver 1s or 2s at other teams outstanding. And then they like Amendola leaves and goes to Miami, and he's out in year 2 there. So they are really struggling without Tom Brady. They, like you said, he's doing too much. You can't be GM and head coach anymore in this game. You gotta have a designated guy for that role. And I don't know his pedigree and what he's done in the NFL is hard to go against the guy. But right now, it's just like you're at a time. What are the Patriots going to do in the future? They're spiraling just out of control still. So,
agreed.
I don't care what you Patriots fans think.
No. Reports say that if Bill doesn't win in Germany, he might not make it back as the head coach.
That's crazy.
It's weird to think.
Yeah.
20 years of dominance.
I feel like why would you fire a guy like that? Why wouldn't he just walk away?
I think that's what's going to end up happening. They'll give him the, hey, we're not going to put you out like Old Yeller. We're going to let you go out. Yeah. We're going to let you walk out and then die by a tree.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it Old Yeller to you, but
out of respect.
At least he deserves that. Yeah. No, but yeah. Ravens pummel the Seahawks. In my humble opinion, I think they are one of the most dangerous teams in the AFC right now. Besides the Jags, I would not want to see them in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is looking really good. OBJ is making catches. Mark Andrews. That defense is playing as well as any other defense in the league right now. And the Seahawks were also on fire in the NFC. So now them and the 49ers are tied for first in that division. Just the Ravens look really good, man. The Ravens are so
good. The Ravens are the hottest team in the NFL. They're a team nobody wants to play right now. Lamar Jackson, and I feel like Monkey came from Georgia. I feel like he's a real deal on play calling. He makes it simple for his quarterbacks. I don't know. Ravens are a tough team. Ravens are a top team in the AFC. They're a scary team. They could beat literally anyone they play. So I like the Ravens in the AFC. I don't like the Ravens because they're so damn good.
Yeah.
They're going to play spoiler to a lot of teams.
A team that could make the play that could sneak into the playoffs in the AFC.
Who's that?
Houston.
They could.
The way CJ Stroud played last week,
man. Yep.
Dude, first of all, he scored 41 points. 41 points. And I still couldn't get a win. Garbage. Cowboys late game heroics are not good enough to get them the win. Eagles get the win and stay atop the NFC and the NFL as the best team record-wise. What's your thoughts on Dallas? Dallas, it looks like they've improved, right?
The Cowboys will Cowboys, though. They
Agreed.
always do that. I mean, they're gonna flounder at the end of the game. It was unfortunate that that pass was ruled not a touchdown. I think it was not a touchdown. I think they got it correct because his knee was down right before the goal line and the ball has not crossed the goal line yet. It's just the luck of the draw. You didn't get it. The Dallas have they have a good team. They have a defense that is riddled with injuries, but they
Yep.
still play at a high level. You think of what they could do if they still had their ones out there.
Yep.
I feel like for Dallas to take that next step, they got to develop a run game.
They
They
have
got to
that.
use Pollard more. You know,
Agreed.
and they got Deuce Vaughn back there. Get creative. Like it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to understand what a Dak Prescott's gonna go do. He has Turpin and he got CeeDee Lamb out there and Jake
CeeDee Lamb.
Ferguson. I mean, like he's gonna throw the ball to one of them guys as he should. They're great,
Yeah.
but that team's becoming one dimensional, and it's pretty easy to see and read.
Oh yeah. So, but I will say this: Dak wasn't the issue.
No, I don't think so.
Dak wasn't the issue this game, and usually he is the issue with them losing games. He wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
He played better than Jalen Hurts did.
Yeah,
and Jalen Hurts, I think, is more injured than he is leading on, and it's really good that they have
Hurts
a bye
still had
week
a good
this week.
game though. It's just
I tell you what, that Monday night game is going to be one to remember. I have a feeling it's going to be an instant classic. The Eagles are still really good. AJ Brown's still really good. They're a good team that knows how to win football games. And they just match up well with everybody. They do. They just match up well, and they are a nightmare. It's crazy, and it is what it is. And their road is just as hard as the Chiefs, just as hard as Dallas. They have one of the remaining schedules in the league. They might win out, which is scary. They're that good. Moving on to Sunday night, Bengals win in what felt like a dominant fashion against the Bills. I mean, the Bills made a nice little comeback towards the end to make it a one-score possession. It felt like, I mean, I didn't watch the game, but like from what I was seeing from box score and kind of seeing from highlights, it's like, when is Josh Allen going to make a clutch play to win a game? And that's been my biggest harp with the Bills in general, right? Joe Burrow is 5-1 against both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That man has ice in his veins. If he wasn't playing in the same conference as those two players, he would be in the Super Bowl every year. Bengals are that scrappy on defense. They have great offensive weapons. Now, what are they going to do when T. Higgins wants to get paid? I don't think they're going to be able to afford him because they're going to pay.
No, they
Chase.
won't be.
They'll pay Chase.
They gotta pay
and rightfully
Chase.
so. And rightfully so, because he is your catalyst. Now, I think next year I think this is a good draft for them to get a running back because Joe Mixon is on his contract this year, and I think he's had a pretty solid year. He is getting older, but he's had a solid year.
Getting older. He's had a solid year. I feel like same way with all the running backs with the running back controversy. He's going to probably be looking for an overpaid contract. Not the highest contract because hopefully he's smarter than that. I mean, with his age and everything. But I feel like the Bengals, I'm with you. They move on from him. They get maybe a good, decent running back in the second, third round or something. There's running backs all over. If I was the Bengals and you want to keep up this level of play, I would let T. Higgins walk. I would let Joe Mixon walk. And I'd go. I mean, there's dominant wide receivers in this draft next year or this year.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin
Harrison
I'd be like,
a Bear, yeah.
He won't be he won't be there by the time Cincinnati picks, but there's others, Napers from LSU. He'll be there. That Missouri wide receiver. I mean, go get one of these guys. You could afford a rookie contract wide receiver and play with him for 4 years, and then if he wants more money and you still can't afford it, then let him walk and go get another one. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, it's exactly how it is.
I feel like
it's exactly how it is I feel like it's easier to do that on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you can like, I guess you could say it's kind of similar with the cornerback position. Like, but then again, like, okay, Trent McDuffie, like when like L'Jarius Sneed, Like when those guys' contracts go up, are you willing to pay them that money? Look at Charvarius Ward. We walked away from him, and he was one of the best cornerbacks in the league when we won the Super Bowl in 19. Now he's playing for the Niners. He got his bag. So I mean, I feel like that's the only. I think the two spots on the defensive side of the ball that are very much like the quarterback, defensive line and linebacker. Like those are guys that you absolutely have to pay because they are that much of a game wrecker, in my opinion. I mean, you can go out and I feel like you can go out and get a corner that is I mean, there's levels of corners, and like if you can get a guy that is on a rookie deal who has that potential, I think you can make it work. But like it's so hard to get on the offensive side of the ball, man. It's so much different. But with the Ravens, I think the Bengals are another team that are scary right now. They're finding their stride at the
Yeah, that entire division right now. I mean, even the Steelers, they're 5-3. Bengals are 5-3. The Ravens are 7-2.
Yep.
And and the Browns are 5-3. I know every team in that division has a winning record.
Yeah,
like, that's
I think they might be the
fast division right now.
I think them. Yeah, they're 5-3 too.
Yep.
Yeah. The NFC North. Then no, the AFC North is a tough division. Always has been, always will.
Yep.
It's crazy. And the last game we'll talk about, Chargers are on a 2-game win streak. Do they have a chance to make the playoffs?
Have a chance. Everyone has a chance, but the Chargers, just with their offensive weapons and everything, like it actually seemed like they used them this week. They look good. Yeah, they look good. They have a chance to make the playoffs, but they have to win some games that they're not supposed to, that they're not predicted to win. They can't just go in there and lose constantly. They play the Chiefs again still, right?
Play them at home, I think, the last game of the year.
They might have – that might be a decision maker. Win this, you're in. Lose, you're out, If it's the last game of the year, they have a better chance to win anyway because the Chiefs probably set their starters, so –
I think we won't get. I think if the Chiefs beat the Bengals the week before, then you're probably right because we'll have locked up the 1 seed, unless we drop the next 3 games.
Yeah, could drop.
I mean, it's very, very possible, but yeah, I mean, we still got to play the Raiders twice, and they look rejuvenated, man. They look rejuvenated. Yep. And the stuff coming out of that whole players meeting thing is wild.
That was nuts.
Josh McDaniels saying, quote, "Don't talk about the Patriots that way." Really? You are you were not at the Raiders. What? God. No wonder your ass got fired because you were sucking Bill Belichick's all day. Anyway,
he's kind of a worm. A lot of weird shit has come out about him.
I think he's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a douche.
Yeah, he's nothing better than OC, and we'll see if he even gets that, because if the truth is with Belichick getting fired, who's going to hire him? That's the only guy that hired him. So
yeah, nobody's going to hire him because he's not creative on offense. He's one-dimensional.
Right.
Patriot way. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, anybody.
Big shout out to Aiden O'Connell getting his first start and his first dub.
Yeah, great. And he played well. Played really,
he's a former
really well.
Big Ten quarterback.
Yeah, we'll shout him out, I guess. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. Unless you got anything that you want to talk about NFL wise, that I might have missed.
Really. No, I can't think of anything else. Any big stories happen?
I mean, besides Josh McDaniels getting fired, nothing really.
Yeah.
I mean, oh wait, here, hold on. Josh Dobbs coming in, winning his first game. And it's the first time in franchise history that a first start for a quarterback to come back and win the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him,
his
man.
First start. Dude. Well, no, he didn't start. He came in relief.
He relieved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him. Like, comes in that week, doesn't expect to play. He's learning the playbook. He said they went up to him and be like, "Hey, can you go in? What do you know?" and everything. He's like, "Oh, I know what you gave me." And they gave him like a week 1 playlist and everything. And he was like, "I know all these." And they worked together, and he had 3 fumbles, got 1 back, but just tore the rest of the game up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to him.
Yeah,
I
he
love
played
it.
really well, and I think they're in a
Mhm.
pretty good spot. I
Yep.
think they're in a good spot, and they don't need a tank, that's for sure.
Nope. Nope.
But I don't know if they are going to pay Kirk Cousins. I don't
Did you
know
see
if
all
you
the
wanna
shirts they wore?
Yeah, the team's all behind him, but
Yep.
I don't know if you make that move or if you
Yeah.
try to move up in I could see them maybe moving up in the draft, but, like, that's another risk altogether. Are you willing to go
Yep.
through the growing pains of a young quarterback?
Mhm.
I mean, some teams are willing to do that. I mean, yeah, I would say if Kirk Cousins had one more year, that's where I would pull the Chiefs sit to take Caleb. Let's just say take Caleb Williams, have him sit for a year behind Kirk Cousins,
Yeah. And
and
then
then
play him next year.
play it
Yep.
out.
Yep.
But I just don't
I
see
feel like Kirk
Minnesota.
Cousins will be all right. I think Kirk Cousins still has a couple years in him, maybe
Yeah,
year or 3, maybe. I feel like if you do exactly what you said, go get your guy that you feel confident in the draft as a
yeah,
quarterback, and
yeah,
just
absolutely.
let him sit behind Kirk, let Kirk, do Kirk things and
Yeah,
learn from
and
him,
let the yeah, and I think he's more. I honestly, he's a guy that I feel like that would take on the teaching role really, really well. Because
Absolutely.
he because he
Absolutely.
he was
Yep.
he was the backup quarterback for a while.
Yep.
Like, he
Yep.
wasn't the starter right away, like, he had to earn
Nope.
that spot, and he's been in that position. And, I mean, watching quarterback,
Right.
it makes him a whole lot more wholesome. He
Right.
was so he was a bright spot of that show. It really made me kind of
Respect him and everything.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was gonna say, respect him a little
Yep.
bit more. But, yeah, I mean, I guess other news, I guess I saw this on Twitter. Shedeur Sanders, I guess, isn't coming out according to his dad.
Yeah, daddy
So I
making
guess I get
decisions.
yeah, which makes sense. Why would you come out in a class with Drake May, Caleb Williams, Penix Jr. when you could go in next year when you're going to the Big 12 where you're not playing Oklahoma, Texas, and you could probably throw it all around the yard and
Yeah.
have a lot better stats.
I still question his maturity. I don't question his
Agreed.
play. I think his play is there. I think he can sling the fuck
Yeah,
out of the ball. He makes some errant throws, but a lot of young quarterbacks do. And I think everything that is wrong with him can be fixed, except for one thing. I think he's very, very immature. So he has to fix that himself. And
agreed.
I feel like he's coddled by his dad. He does whatever daddy says, so I don't know.
Agreed. So that's gonna be it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you never miss any of our content. You can find Big Jim on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Gridiron Guys on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And that's gonna be it. We will see you guys on Friday for our Pick'em podcast. That is gonna be it. We'll see you later. Go Big Red.
See you, folks.
And
It's personal.